Hello, dear Polymer Clay enthusiasts. I'm Mihaela from Learn Polymer Clay, and I'm back with more inspiration for your work with Polymer Clay. In today's tutorial, I want to inspire you to make molds for Polymer Clay using Polymer Clay. Thus you will be able to take your favorite pieces and make molds using polymer clay, and then duplicate them or use them as a starting point to create beautiful pieces of polymer clay. So let's dive into the tutorial. So I'm using scrap clay and a flea market box with an interesting decoration on the lid. So I will use this little statuette to, I don't know, make a mold of the face. And then when you are happy with the impression you got into the mold, you can bake this polymer clay mold for 30 minutes at the temperature recommended by the polymer clay manufacturer, and then let it cool down. And then I'm just using white polymer clay that I have previously conditioned, and of course you can use translucent polymer clay or you can use a dark color of polymer clay. You will have an interesting effect as well. And then I applied gold foil on top, and to make sure that it's going to be easy to put this polymer clay into the mold, I rolled it into a ball, a round ball. Then I applied the gold polymer, the gold foil on top, and then I just pressed everything into the mold. And then I took it out to see if I've got a good impression. I had to put it again once more, and then finally I was happy with the result of the impression. Then I trimmed off the excess clay, and I used a modeling tool to, I don't know, to work a little bit on the face. And because we are using gold foil, we don't have to worry about the polymer clay sticking to the polymer clay mold. In case you are not using foil in between, you should consider using a release agent like cornstarch or baby powder. Maybe water would work as well. And then I passed the scrap clay that resulted from I don't know, my cutting around the face design, and then I put it through the pasta machine on a medium setting, and then I just used a small flower cutter to cut out small flower shapes, and then I used the round dotting tool to press slightly on the petals from inside to outside to give these flowers a more organic look. And I encourage you to use molds and cutters in your work with polymer clay, but I also encourage you to, I don't know, work a little bit on the design and make sure that they don't have a cookie cutter look in the end. It's just a starting point, and then it's up to you to model the polymer clay a little bit, I don't know, to shape it and to give it your twist. And of course I used a toothpick to make a hole in the middle of the flower, because I want to be able to attach these flowers after coloring them with soft pastels, and after baking them I want to be able to attach them to a bracelet frame, and I'm going to use wire to do this. So as I said, I am going to add some color to these flowers, and I'm using pink and violet. And I'm just using a brush, and I'm painting these previously white flowers, and I'm just playing with these colors. And in the end they are going to look a little bit like lilac flowers. And after baking these flowers, you should consider using a matte varnish to protect these pieces and to make sure that you won't have soft pastels on your skin when wearing this design. And of course, you have also to think about using varnish on the polymer clay face decorated with gold foil to protect the gold foil. And I don't know, I use this focal to decorate a bracelet blank, but you can turn this into a pendant, or you can use it to make a brooch. There are plenty of possibilities to adapt this idea to several pieces of jewelry. I like using bracelet frames and things that would make my work easier, because I have I don't know, the base, and then it's easier to decorate it with something that I like. And when you are happy with the look of the flowers after having applied soft pastels, and of course when you're happy with the look of the polymer clay face, you can put them in the oven and bake them for 30 minutes at the temperature recommended by the polymer clay manufacturer. And I bake my pieces on a tile wrapped up in parchment paper, baking paper, because I don't want to have a glassy look on the back of the pieces. So and I'm not going to I don't know, to make a fancy bag for this face, let's say cabochon. And then I am going to use toothpicks to drill holes, to make holes inside the cabochon. And I'm thinking how I would want to attach the flowers on the upper part of the head. So I'm making holes, and I will use 24 gauge gold wire that I will put through the holes, and then I will put the flower bead, and then I will use 3 golden seed beads to, I don't know, to secure the flower bead in place. And I will pass the wire through the hole again, and then I will do my best to have a nice look on the back of the piece, because the back of a piece of jewelry is equally important for a professionally looking piece of jewelry. So then it's all about weaving all around the bracelet. So I started by weaving around the bracelet blank to secure the thread, the wire, I'm sorry. And then after weaving the wire, I don't know, 3 times around the base, then I just put the wire through the cabochon. And then now that I have the cabochon secured to the bracelet blank, I can weave in the flower beads. So I'm putting the wire through the hole. I'm working normally from back to front. And in some cases you might need to use your flat nose pliers to I don't know, to manage to take out the wire through the hole. I don't know, to pull the wire through the hole. And I forgot to mention that I only used the toothpicks to make the holes, and then I took them off and I baked the cabochon without these toothpicks inside. And to make sure that I will have a nice hole to work with. I might even, I don't know, roll them inside while making the hole to enlarge a little bit the hole. But anyway, in this case, I'm working with 24 gauge wire, which is very thin, so I don't really have to worry about this, the size of the holes. So again, I'm putting the wire through the hole from back to front. I'm putting in the flower bead. I added 3 golden seed beads, and then I will go through the flower bead again, and I will come out on the back of the piece, and I will put on the wire to make sure that the flower bead is secured inside the design. And I will do this weaving part to attach all the flower beads. And it is very important to really pull on the wire and make sure that you don't have loose loops that would not look very well. And you will end up with, I don't know, I thought it would look like a fairy design. And I thought that this piece would be a great piece for spring. So I hope that you like the tutorial. I hope that you are inspired to use polymer clay to make molds and thus be able to, I don't know, to add a new dimension to your designs. Please press the like button if you like the tutorial. Please share your comments with me, and stay tuned for more inspiration for your work with polymer clay. Thank you.